Yang berhormat, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am not actually a politician. I started life, and I would like to tell you very frankly, I'm so happy to be back in Ipoh, because the last visit in Ipoh was I think it was 1971. Now, not because I don't like Ipoh, because my wife was very worried that there's so many beautiful women in Perak. Well, that's true. Unfortunately, she has passed away 3 years ago, and not that I'm looking for a wife, no. At my age, at 72 years old, I suddenly realized that I'm 27 years old after joining PKR. It's so exciting, and everybody asks me, David, why don't you get married again? I said, oh no, with due respect to the ladies. I think politics is becoming more and more interesting, because when you go back, nobody asks you what time you come back. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah. Now, since you have heard so much on the political thing, I always like to do a little bit of joke here and there. Now, when the economy was bad, I remember in Singapore, remember President Marcos?
Yes, Marcos.
President Marcos, he came down, after seeing God, he cried. So good old Harry came, said, Marcos, what's happened? Why are you crying? Oh, when I went upstairs to see God, God said, the Philippine economy is so bad, there's nothing you can do, so I'm very sad, that's why I'm crying. So good old Harry went up, and when he came down, he also cried. And then came Dr. Mahathir. Hey, Marcos, Harry, what happened to you all? Oh, you know, when we talk about to God about the Philippine and the Singapore economy, God said, so bad, said, we have to cry. So Mahathir said, oh, don't worry, let me see what happens. So when Mahathir went up, after 10 minutes he came down, he was smiling. So Marcos and Harry asked what happened. So Mahathir said, when I told God about the Malaysian economy, God cried. Now, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the reason, why I have gone back into politics is because I met Anwar about 8 months through Senator Bong in my son's restaurant in London, and we had a heart-to-heart talk. And to be honest with you, in those days when I was a senator for 6 years in Barisan Nasional, we were all indoctrinated that, oh, you cannot trust Anwar. He's a terrible man. His ambition is to be the Prime Minister. He's not bothered about the country. He will sell the country to the Americans. I had a very frank talk with Anwar. 23 to 4 hours, we sat down, we chat and all things. And he said to me, David, whatever I have said when I was in UMNO, I am not going to deny about it. At least he was a gentleman. But David, I have been in jail for 6 long years. And during the 6 long years, I've learned so much. And I think a man needs a second chance. Don't you agree that he should need a second chance? Right. So because of that, and I, for one, during my young days, I remember very clearly that when I was a young man, in the 50s and 60s, I'm sure some of you will remember, or probably most of you will remember, that we eat, sleep with our Malay friends. We had no problem about racial. We eat, sleep like adik-beradik. Tak ada pasal race. Don't you agree? Why are we having this racial polarization in universities? The problem everywhere. Why? It's because UMNO just divide the races. Just like the one thing UMNO has learned from the British, to divide and rule. So we are not going to fall into the trap. I can assure you, Pakatan Rakyat, when we come into power, and we will come into power, we will see that first, all that has been taken away from us, for example, the judiciary will come back where we want, where the people depend, when they are in trouble, depend on the court. and the judiciary. What happens now? When you go to the court, you know what happens, right? So this is why I think Pakatan Right can promise you, ladies and gentlemen, that when we come to power, and we will come to power in the next few years, and it all depends on you, ladies and gentlemen. You are the masters of this country, not the ministers, not the Prime Minister. It is you and you alone can change the whole thing. So all we ask, as you know, BN government has been 52 years in this country. All we ask you to give us 5 years, 10% of that, and we will show you whether we can do it or not. And if we cannot do it, ladies and gentlemen, you can just get rid of us. This is a promise, and I'm sure my Pakatan friend will say, if we are not good, get rid of us. But all we ask from you is give us a chance, 5 years, that's all. 10% of what BN has ruled this country for 50 years, and look what is happening. Very simple. Look at the economy. I just give you an example. The sovereign fund, for example, the sovereign fund of the countries, right? Singapore, a small nation, without natural resources, without oil, without rubber, without tin, the reserves of Singapore is nearly double ours. The sovereign funds of Singapore is nearly $300 billion. In fact, it was about 420 billion a year ago, but unfortunately, because of the crisis, they've dropped nearly 100 billion. Now the sovereign fund of Singapore is 300 billion US dollars as of today. What is our Malaysia say? Oh, we are doing very well. We have got rubber, we've got tin, we've got oil, kelapa sawit, we've got everything. But you know what is our sovereign fund? As the latest sovereign fund, Ada Khazanah holding only $22 billion. What sort of economy are we doing? So, ladies and gentlemen, you and you alone can change the government and nobody else. So this is where I feel, help us, give us a chance. Give us only 5 years and we will show you what Pakatan Right can do for you. Ladies and gentlemen, I think, and the other thing I can also say to you very clearly, the very short time, the last few months that I've been Anwar with him, I've seen him in exercise where he brings his 3 daughters and a son. And you can see this man, a man with warmth and all those things. This is a man who said that the NDP should be scrapped. This is the man that said that Chin Peng should come back. And yet, he's been deprived. The old man, who is 85 years old, has no opportunity to come back. Well, I must tell you this. Recently, I met him in Bangkok together with Dr. Bong. This is an 85 years old man, and I saw him, I sat down with him in the car, and all I asked him is this. I call him sir, because look at him, so pathetic, you know. I asked him this, I wanted to send him probably for a holiday, and I asked him, sir, if you had your wish, which place would you like to go and enjoy yourself? You know what he said to me? David, all I want is to visit back Setiawan. Just to visit Setiawan. It's unbelievable for a man who is laid down arms. And well, some people say that, oh, just because the ex-services is against it, the ex-police is against it. But this is a war. Right, then, ladies and gentlemen, a war where people get hurt and all things, but this is something that is past. But they have forgotten since Chin Peng has laid down arms in 1989 to today, we have been living in peace, enjoying peace. They have forgotten about that. So this is what I feel, that a person like Anwar, you know, he says that Chin Peng should come back. And you know what Anwar said? Why he said he's a traitor. Can you believe a man with a kind heart is called a traitor? I do not believe that. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, since the time that I've known Anwar, I can assure you, you can trust him, and this is the man I want. I will lay down my life, and I want to see him to be the next Prime Minister of this country. Time is short, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for giving me the time, and I think I'm becoming like a politician again. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.